Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Forman. Today we have Jason Forrest with us, and we want to talk about a new board in Jason's quiver, the Lost Retro Tripper. This board, it has nothing to do with me. It is not my pro model, and which is probably why Jason likes it. But let's go into this board, Jason, and tell us what you think about it.
You know, first out, I've had it for a couple weeks. I've ridden it in a variety of sessions, and Jeffrey was there the first time I rode it. He was surfing a different board, and I came in and I was like, that is a straight up, really fun board to ride, and I was frothing. It was, chest high, shoulder high, beach break, and it was in the afternoon, and I just caught a ton of waves. It was crazy fast. Like right out of the gate, standing up, going down the line, just flying.
Right.
And then, like any good Matt Biolos board in the Lost category, you just step on the tail and just turn top to bottom. And that's where his boards, I think, in my opinion, really come alive. Is that his boards want to be surfed top to bottom, rail to rail, off the top, which is not what I was expecting. I mean, I don't want to say not what I was expecting, but looking at this board, you wouldn't think it would just be off the top, rip and turns.
Right, you think it's more like linear speed, not vertical.
Exactly.
Okay.
But in my experience with Matt's boards is that they want to be surfed.
They want to be turned.
Yeah. The more you turn them, the better they perform, the faster they go.
All right, so how big was the surf during that session?
That session was pretty small. I was, chest to shoulder high or something.
Okay.
It was clean, glassy, beach break waves. It was fun.
Nice.
It was good. It was a good intro session.
And then what about, looking at this thing, it looks pretty...
It's beefy.
It's beefy.
Yeah.
It's pretty flat, right? So what about let's kind of like go through everything, right? Like paddling?
Paddling, so another session I had on it was at the first jetty in Buxton, and there was a ton of little kids out, and the waves were kind of hard to get into. And I just weaved through the groms and took every wave. I have no remorse in the Grom Patrol. I just take the waves. Those kids don't go to school. I work.
That's it. It's your time.
It's my time, baby.
Right.
So this board was perfect for that because I was able to paddle around them, sneak in behind them, sneak under them, take waves, and it really glides in really well because it's got that beef up front under your chest. But if you look at the tail, like when you were just holding it up there, Trip, I was noticing how much tail rocker there is.
Just in the back, out the back.
It's really thin here, and it has a lot of tail rocker right there. So once it's up and turning, it performs really well.
And what about in the micro mini? What's like the smallest stuff that you've surfed it in?
I haven't surfed it in anything that small. I don't think it's a micro mini board. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of tail. I always think a small wave board should have more tail to give you that lift and drive. I think it's a waist to overhead board, point break, going on a trip, just catch a ton of waves within a crowd, summertime, mush waves.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they kind of build it as, the retro tripper, it's kind of like a one board travel board for somebody that kind of likes that retro style.
Right.
And I think, if you're going to a place, if it's, you're going to Nicaragua or El Salvador and it's less than waist high.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
At that point, you would, it probably doesn't happen, or
you'd probably be at the bar.
You'd probably be, doing something else, or not going that week.
Yeah, it's been in my car since I got it, the whole time. So it hasn't left my car since I got it a couple weeks ago, and I've ridden it in a lot, and it's just really fun. Okay,
so we're talking waist high and above. Let's talk a little bit about fin setup, right? So this one came. Obviously, they're coming either Futures or FCS. This one came with FCS. What fins you got in here?
So those are the MR Twin Plus trailers, and that's what you suggested I get. So I went straight to those fins. I've actually never ridden a Twin Plus trailer. I've only ever had keel twins or thrusters or quads. So it was actually the first set of twin trailers I've ever bought in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I really like it because it has that twin drive and speed, but it has kind of that thruster feel off the bottom. I was really impressed with that fin set.
And then let's talk about with twins being so hot right now that everybody's like, oh, well, I'm not a twin guy. And sometimes twins are slidey or drifty. Do you feel any of that in this board?
This board is not slidey or drifty at all.
Okay.
It's got that twin fin squirt, that kind of fast, efficient flow. But with the trailer in there and that pulled in tail, it has that thruster feel. That's what I was saying, that top to bottom shortboard surf style.
Yeah. Talking about the shape on this thing, the first thing that I notice is how flat the deck is. It's got a pretty flat deck.
A lot of fun.
And looking at it, it's almost like here almost like where your wax is almost flat, like the
Yeah.
entire way
Yeah.
across. And then the rails really pull down on the sides. What's that feeling like? I mean, paddling wise.
It just paddles really well. I mean, it's 30 liters, so it's a little bit high. It's the higher end of my volume category there. So that foam helps, but it's a 5.7, so it's a lot of foam packed into a little package.
Yep.
With that pulled-in tail, so it's all there. It's all under your chest. Paddles really well. I've had it in some bigger days with current, and it felt like a bigger twin fin or something.
Okay. And then I mean, looking at like the width of the nose and the thickness, there's like a little mini kind of subtle. It's not even really like a beak. It's just like a thicker nose.
Yeah.
Like there is no, or if it is, it's like barely discernible, like a little maybe knuckle up here, like super tiny.
Some of the other ones seem to have a more pronounced beak. I think it's depending on the size, but
yeah, flat deck, like wider nose, like kind of like generous width, and then it carries the width all the way to here. So I mean, even if you're in like the small stuff and your back foot's here,
yeah,
like you still got that push.
yeah.
But then but once it starts jamming and you need like a little bit more control, like you could bring it back onto the pin.
Right. I did feel that like in a couple of sessions when I stepped my back foot forward to kind of pump down the line, it didn't have that like really good pump. But that's what I say about those Watersports is they come to live when it's like you're surfing it top to bottom.
Okay.
I didn't feel like it when my foot was high. When my
Like
foot's back here.
How about when your foot's like on the front of the pad?
That's what I mean. It just like your foot's got to be right here.
It likes the sweet
It
spot
likes
is
the sweet
on
spot.
on the arch of the pad.
Yeah, it's like,
Okay.
baby, let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
What else?
I mean,
Let's talk about your dimensions.
yeah.
All right, dimensions.
I mean, I'm pretty,
What are your
pretty
dimensions?
slim, like got some good dimensions. I have some big muscles.
What's your height and weight?
I don't know, I think I'm 5'8" and like 160 pounds.
All right, and this board is 5'7". This is stock 5'7", so it's 5'7", 19 3/4, 2.42.
It's 30 liters, I think is what that says.
30.2
Yeah.
liters for Jason
For Jason, that has my name on it. Which is pretty,
by Matt Biolis.
pretty
It
damn
looks
cool.
like you have a gold leaf Mayhem logo
Yeah,
here, so that's
yeah, it's pretty-
semi-collectible.
pretty sick.
All righty. Well, any closing comments on this board? Like keeping it or
100%.
turning it in?
No, you're never getting that back. Never. I'd say just like for me, like maybe there's a day you ride your shortboard all morning and you're tired, and then you grab this thing and you just go out and catch a ton of waves. It's that bonus session, crowds. Weaving through crowds. That's what I got it for. I got a little bit higher. I think you could get it smaller and just rip the bag out of it.
Yeah, you were talking like Selena Cruz fantasy trip.
Oh my gosh.
Like this one,
Yeah,
and
100%.
then what would be the small one that you would bring?
Like you take that and maybe the little wing,
But you were even talking about a smaller
taking
one.
two of those. Yeah, I would
like
take
this
two
and
of
a
those. I would go
5'6"
down
or
to
something.
like my shortboard volume, which is like 27 and a half. So
Okay.
that would be like either the 5.5 maybe or the 5.6.
Okay.
So like, if someone wants to just straight up rip on this thing, get it in your shortboard volume, and it will be mind blowing.
Okay.
Me, I got it more for like mushier, flatter days and like bonus days, catching a ton of waves. And
Or current or paddle prison.
Current, paddle prison, whatever. And the performance of the board exceeded what I thought the board was going to be able to do in those conditions.
Awesome. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining us. If any of you out there have any questions on the Lost Retro Tripper or would like to place an order for one, either stock or custom, you can always call us in the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.